Good day and welcome. Our guest today is an exceptionally talented person. Hailing from the realm of melodies and dreams, our guest enchanted audiences as a top five finalist in Canadian Idol Season 4, where she quickly became known for her song choices and unique look. Her journey after Canadian Idol transformed into a symphony of triumphs as she graced the stage across the expanse of Canada and the United States, making her spectacular theater debut in the spellbinding production Spring Awakening. A Dora Award nominee in 2013 for her impeccable portrayal of Cinderella, the stage has truly been her canvas, adorned with vibrant performances in productions like Next Normal, A Rocky Romance, Cabaret, and even the mesmerizing Peter Pan in Wonderland by Ross Petty. Her talents radiate a Broadway and beyond, and it's no surprise that she achieved the remarkable feat of playing Janet Mosher in the Broadway smash hit Come From Away, a staggering 861 times across various theaters and provinces. As the curtain of her achievement continued to rise, she was named Performer of the Decade at Broadway World in Toronto 2020. Not only has she graced the stage as a solo star, but she's also collaborated with the likes of Cyndi Lauper, Nelly Furtado, Dennis DeYoung, and Roger Hodgins. She's also made appearances on television and film, and she's probably convinced you to stop by some fast food chains with her commercial work. With productions of Stage Fright, Learning to Love Again, The Rick Mercer Report, Private Eyes, Murdoch Mysteries, You're Perfect, I Love You, Now Change, and also performing Ashler in the animated series of Ollie's Pack. These are just a few of her amazing titled productions, and some have stated that she's more than a star, but a constellation of talent. Please join me in welcoming Steffi Didomenicantonio. Thank you so much for your time and welcome to our show.
Oh my goodness, Chris, thank you so much for that beautiful introduction. I feel like I am not worthy. And you were talking, and I was like, is he talking about me?
100% I am.
Have I done any of these things, really?
All of them and more. I could have kept going.
Oh my goodness gracious. I no, honestly, I'm truly honored that you wrote such a glowing introduction for me. Thank you. Thank you.
You're more than welcome. But Steffi, I'd love to ask you the first question here is, can you take us back to the beginning of your career? What inspired you to pursue a career in entertainment? If I remember, you at one point left high school to audition for Canada's Got Talent.
Yeah, actually, it was Canadian Idol, but kind of same
Yeah.
difference. Way back when Canada's Got Talent didn't exist. So I'm old now, and I wasn't, you know what I mean? I wasn't a young spring chicken anymore when Canada's Got Talent came around. Um, yeah, you know what's crazy? I've been wanting to be a performer since I was a little girl. My mom has this amazing story about me when I was a little kid. Couldn't have been more than, I don't know, 5 years old. And I was watching TV and I turned to her and I said, one day I'm going to be in there. So I think from an early age, I just like really wanted to do this, wanted to be a performer, wanted to be, a singer and actor and all that stuff. So started taking classes when I was really young. And I tried a whole bunch of things that I didn't stick with, like drumming and figure skating and, piano lessons. And I ended up sticking to acting and singing. Um, yeah. And also, I have to say this because it's just so wild to me every time I think I could have taken such a different path. I was named after Steffi Graf, the tennis player.
Right.
And I did take tennis lessons growing up. And apparently I was really good. And my coach told my mom that I should go semi-pro. And that was the sliding doors moment where I decided, actually, I don't want to play tennis. I want to sing and act and dance for a living, hopefully anyway. And so, yeah, that's what I ended up doing. I just followed that path. And then when I turned 16, that was like the age that you could audition for Canadian Idol. And I wasn't planning on going, but one of my really good friends that I used to sing musical theater with growing up said, I'm going to go to the auditions today. Do you want to come with me? And I had never sung a pop song in my entire life before I auditioned for the show. And yeah, then honestly, I kept making it through every single round. And to this day, it's one of the wildest things I think I've ever done. Truly.
So what I'm hearing is that if you didn't go into acting and dancing, that we could be talking to a professional tennis player right now.
Yeah, I think so. Though, I do hear that professional tennis players are very, very tall. And
Hmm.
I'm not like I'm very average, 5'4". So I don't know if I would have made it, but apparently I was pretty good. So, but now if you ask me to go on the tennis court and play with you, I couldn't do it. I get scared of the ball. I just like I've lost all of my sporty instincts. Let's just say that. Yeah.
Well, I won't have that as our invitation then.
Great. Perfect.
So when you discovered this about yourself, wanting to be in this industry, how did that shape the understanding of yourself?
Oh, wow. That's a great question. I would argue that one of the really hard things, the thing that's challenging as much as it is invigorating and life affirming, is that I think being an artist is all consuming. So I think that from a young age, I think I've always connected with being an artist and a human being kind of being as one thing. And I think that is how that shaped my life in a lot of ways. I think I've always wanted to tell stories and like seek truth in some kind of way. And I think it's like an all consuming thing to be an artist and to decide you're going to take this path, because I always tell people who are getting into the business when they ask for advice that it's truly like you have to love it so, so much. And you have to commit your entire life to kind of living in this space that even on the best of days, it's still hard, you know? So yeah, I would argue that it's shaped me as a human being from a very young age to this very point where I'm still kind of discovering things about myself when I am doing the work and when I'm not necessarily doing the work. So it is still a challenging journey.
You actually mentioned something there, talking about the truth in storytelling. So,
Yeah.
as an actor and a performer, we're putting on a costume, and we're going to go out there and we're going to go
Yeah.
entertain. So it's hard to bring your personal truth to that. So how do
Yeah.
you bring your truth in that storytelling as the character? How do you get that
Yeah.
embodiment going?
That's a great question, Chris. I love that. I feel like no matter what, as artists and as people who act and perform on stage, I think whether you like it or not, you're bringing yourself to every part and you're bringing yourself on stage and to every character. I always find that the characters that I've played have always come from a place that I've already been in, or that I'm like just taking my own experience. And I think naturally when people perform, I think they start from a place of themselves very naturally, whether you like it or not, you're going to bring yourself to a part. So I always find that like finding the truth in something in the storytelling, yes, it's all make believe anyway, but I find that the most compelling people to watch are the people who are bringing themselves to a part no matter what, because you see a glimpse into themselves bringing this character to life.
I love that.
Yeah.
Now,
Oh, good. I'm glad you like that. Hopefully that makes sense.
you had also mentioned when people ask you for advice or bits of motivation that you tell them that
Yeah.
it's kind of this love for it. Why is that the case? Why is it that when someone says, "Hey, Steph, I want to get into this," the best piece of advice is, you really got to love it, and doesn't matter your day, you still have to perform. Why can't you have a bad day as an actor, or why can't it just be anything else other than love to be in the industry?
Oh, wow. Yeah. Listen, everybody has bad days. And I just want to say, I've gone on stage many a time. Listen, I performed Come From Away. I wanted to update your intro, actually. I went on tour with Come From Away later last year, and I actually ended up performing the show 950 times, not 800 and something, which was at the end of the Toronto run. But I think that like actors, just like anybody else, because it is you're still your job is to get on stage and perform. I think it still happens that you have a hard day. It still happens that you have a hard time. But I think what's always motivated me to always give my best to an audience is that they're usually experiencing the story for the very first time. And I always think of the one person that could be in the audience where this changes their life, or that they decide that they want to do this. Or, sometimes, I don't know, I find that sitting in a dark room with a bunch of strangers watching theater in particular is just such a, like, it's almost a spiritual experience where you're all choosing to go on this ride together, all choosing to go on this journey together. So I always find that the audience gives me the energy that I need to kind of get through a show, even if I'm having an off day or even if I'm having a bad day. And at the end of the day, I love being in front of people so much. Like, I love, some call it trauma, but other people might call it just loving the art of the craft. And yeah, there's just something about that energy exchange and about kind of putting on different hats, literally and figuratively, that I find just so fulfilling, that it doesn't matter kind of what day I'm bringing in with me. And sometimes the days you're bringing in with you help. You might be doing a tragedy or there's a big drama or something like that. And sometimes stuff like that helps. Like, that's what's so amazing about being an artist and working with your instrument, which is your body and your voice and your words and your all that kind of stuff. I just find that's what's so incredible, is that sometimes the people sitting in the audience, you're speaking the words that maybe they don't have the courage to say to their spouse or their lover or their brother or sister or mother, and they feel inspired when they walk away. I just find it's such a you can have such an, yeah, almost a religious experience at the theater when you're touched by something. And specifically, I think I experienced that a lot with Spring Awakening and Come From Away, specifically because I think the shows spoke so much to people. So I think, yes, you have to love doing it, because at the end of the day, you have to every night go up on stage, and no matter how nervous or tired or whatever kind of day you have behind you, you have to get up there and do the thing, and usually 8 times a week. So it's kind of like running a marathon. It's like we're emotional athletes in a lot of ways.
Well, if you're lucky, it's 8 times a week, or in your instance, 950, not the
Right.
161.
Yes, that's right. Yes, yes. So many times. Yeah.
So, with all of your performances and your experience, can you share with us an instance where you had to confront and overcome your own fears or insecurities while you were working on a project?
Oh, wow. Listen, it's hard to pick just one time that I was scared. What's crazy is that now that I'm whatever years old, you can probably Google it, but now that I'm whatever years old, I what amazes me about this business is that there's still so many things I haven't necessarily done. And there's still so many things that scare the crap out of me. And there's still days where I genuinely am a little bit more fearful slash have more stage fright than usual to get up on stage or get in front of the camera. Uh just being an artist can be really vulnerable. And sometimes when you're in a place where you don't feel like you want to be seen, or you need to take a break or step back, that happens all the time. I'm trying to think of one specific time where I was just terrified. Um, you know, the thing is, genuinely, I think my fear has always turned into excitement at some point. I took this amazing class called the Performer's Mindset that compared artist's journey in getting ready to perform with how athletes get ready to perform, and how all the things that happen physiologically in your body when you get scared and you get fearful to go on stage, and maybe you have stage fright, is actually your body preparing you for doing something difficult. So, if anything, I've learned to embrace the nerves and kind of embrace the fear in a lot of ways, because I feel the gratitude of my body getting ready for doing the really hard thing that might scare me. And then when you get into a state of flow, it's like just the most incredible thing that happens. So I think there's too many times to count where I felt maybe a little bit afraid. So I can't recall one specific thing. But yeah, there's been so many instances in my life. I think I've been sometimes better at dealing with it than some other times. And I just find it's all a part of the process. And it's kind of the magical thing about being a performer.
I love that. You got to face the fears and conquer them to move forward as a
Yeah.
performer.
Yeah.
So while we're talking about fears and things that scare you, what is something that scares you about the industry or in your personal life? Spiders or the strike that's going on?
Oh,
Share
wow.
what that's that. What can we get you to jump with?
Wow. All of the above. No, actually, I got to tell you, I, it's not that I'm not scared of spiders because I do want to address the spider thing. I think I used to be really, really scared of them. And then I had this book that my mom gave me. It was about good luck charms. And spiders was a chapter in the good luck charm a book. And apparently it's bad luck to kill spiders because apparently their presence means that it's a lucky thing. So I actually have I don't kill spider. I haven't killed a spider in 10 years. I'll usually either if they're not in my bedroom, I'll just say, you can do your thing, I will do my thing as long as you don't crawl into my mouth at night when I'm sleeping. And I won't kill them and I won't even relocate unless it's a really big and scary spider. Then I will put it on a piece of paper and just put it out on my balcony. So spiders, no. The strike, yes, the strikes, plural, are, yeah, they're scary. You know what? There's a lot of stuff about our industry right now that I find is uncertain and volatile. And though I think all the strikes are necessary for our business to actually compensate our actors properly, though I think all those things are necessary, it does feel, I was talking to my mom on the phone the other day and I said, it kind of almost feels like a second pandemic a little bit because the work is, has slowed down quite a bit. And there's just a different energy around the industry right now. And I know that for me, yeah, again, it's a process of kind of, for me, what's scary and what scares me about the strike specifically is that for me specifically, when there's a lack of me doing the work, sometimes because I've associated myself with being a performer so much and it's so intertwined in the fabric of my being that sometimes when you take that aspect away, I get a little bit lost and I realize that I have to find out who Steffi is without the industry and without the business and without acting and playing other people and who I am at my very base foundational level. And I find that sometimes that gets a little bit scary. I tend to easily get into an existential crisis or two about this kind of stuff. So yeah, those things kind of scare me, but things that are scary make us grow. So I'm trying to stay open to the
Get out there and scare
possibilities of
yourself.
what.
That's right.
Yeah, exactly. Again, the business makes you used to kind of living in uncertainty and living in the not knowingness of a lot of things. So as much as that's scary, I think, you can still turn it around and go, I still have a lot to learn about myself, about this business, and about who I am as a performer versus who I am as a person, and how those things, where those things intertwine and where those things don't, you know?
So, as you mentioned, putting the work in, is there anything you're currently working on outside of the strike being happening that you can share with us? Is there any new music coming on? Any new albums coming out?
Oh, wow. Oh, listen, I wish there were albums coming out and songs coming out. Um, I was working on a TV show that unfortunately, I'm sorry, I can't tell you what it is. It's a big secret. So when the strikes happened, that did come to a halt. But I can't say that it's coming out in the fall. So what we have shot, I think, is indeed coming out. And I listen, I can't tell you how this was like a big dream thing to happen to me. And I'm sorry that I can't say anything else about it, but I gotta tell you, keep your eye out on my socials because when it comes out, I think it's all I'm going to be talking about. It's just like a big bucket list thing for me. So I'm very, very excited about it coming out. And I promise when it does, I'm going to email you and tell you all about it and where you can watch it. And yeah, very excited. But I'm sorry I can't say anything else at this very moment in time.
So when we talk about your socials, where can people follow you? Where can we
Oh,
find you?
yeah. Yes. So I'm on Instagram at Steffi D5. People keep asking me why the 5, and I was like, it's just one of my favorite numbers. There's no reason for it other than that.
There's
Yeah,
not
at
four
Stephanie
more people ahead
5.
of you.
Yeah, right. And Steffi D was taken, so I felt like I had no choice. Instagram's the thing that I use the most. So at Steffi D5, but also you can go on my website. I have a fancy website that I made during the pandemic. It's steffid.ca. That's steffid.ca. So if you want to go follow me or check out my website, you can also email me on there and get in touch. So there you go. Now you know how to get in touch with me if you want to send compliments or memes or complaints or feedback. Go for it.
Please go to spam. It's great.
Yeah, and if it goes to spam, so be it. I'm sorry. I'll get back to you when I find it.
So, Steffi, what do you pursue outside of your entertaining and performing life that contributes to your personal and creative growth?
Wow. Okay. Big question. Big question. I have a few hobbies that I listen, if going to the movies is a hobby, I go to the movies so much. I love watching stuff. During the pandemic, I truly finished Netflix. And honestly, it's one of those things that I can't even believe I can write off on my taxes, like truly, because I love watching people's work. I'm a big fan of just overdosing on watching film and television. I also, love going to the theater. I'm a big musical theater nerd, obviously. Again, I love supporting my friends and things that they're doing, or going to see a big commercial show, or, big flashy musicals. I'm also a big crafter. I like crafting. I can't make anything really, really fancy, but I'm really good and handy with a hot glue gun. And during the pandemic, I redecorated my whole place, painted everything pink, and just crafted a whole bunch of stuff. Like, honestly, it's chaotic in my apartment. You're only seeing my self-tape backdrop right now, but the chaos that has ensued back there is quite phenomenal. What else? I I love going to the beach, and I love journaling, and I love doing personal work as well. I'm a big fan of therapy, and I'm a big fan of um journaling and trying to unearth some stuff, because I find that sometimes your self-growth as a human being has so much to do and is so intertwined with your artistry and stuff that you might be able to connect to and dig deep for. It's a good thing, I think, to just be able to be vulnerable easily when you're an artist, any kind of artist, really. So I also love partaking in those kinds of things.
So, when we talk about the vulnerability and the personal side of Steffi D, what is
Yeah.
something that you would say people tend to misunderstand about you the most?
Yeah. I love how you prepared me. I'm telling your viewers now that you prepared me for this story before we started
My big
recording.
secret's
But
out.
you didn't, yeah, the secret's out. But you didn't give me a lot of time to prepare for it. I just kind of went, okay, once we get there, I'll deal with it when I get there. And it's funny, I know what to say. When you asked me that question, something kind of went off in my brain, and I went, oh yeah, I think my whole life, this is something I think that has happened throughout the very many years I've been on this earth now. And I think that people have often misjudged me when they meet me for the first time. I have gotten a lot of people who didn't believe that I was for real, or didn't trust that I was just. I think naturally, I think I operate on a high frequency. I'm very excitable and enthusiastic, and just, I think, naturally interested, and naturally just over enthusiastic about a lot of things. And I think that the main thing that's been misunderstood about me is that it's not something that I've put on, or it's not something that I've been that I faked, or it's not something that Yeah, I think that's what it is. So I think I just like naturally operate kind of in I'm what they call an extroverted extrovert.
Oh,
I'm just like through and through, just I love people so much. I love being around people. I love getting to know new people. I love making new friends. I love connecting with people on a deep level. One of my favorite things is when, people open up to me, whether it's like friends or family or whatever. And yeah, I genuinely feel like sometimes I've been misunderstood in that way, that sometimes it's taken in a yeah, it's maybe taken not in a negative way, but in a um like in a suspicious way. But it is kind of how I naturally operate. So yeah.
and Steffi, I have time for one last question for you today, and
Okay.
it's what makes Steffi D smile?
Oh gosh. You know what, Chris? You make me smile. You asking me to be on this podcast makes me smile, like truly. The thing is, like most things make me smile unless they make me cry. I think I have a very, very thin threshold when it comes to happiness and sadness. So I think it's either you're making me laugh or I cry, but I don't cry easily. So I think most things just make me smile. I think I'm just naturally gifted when it comes to having fun. I love having fun. Like if there's one thing I'm good at, even if it's not acting or singing, I I'm good at having fun. So I'm guessing that goes hand in hand with I'm good at smiling, maybe.
That's
Yeah.
absolutely amazing. That's all the time I have for you today, Steffi. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much, everyone out there. Check out Steffi D, Google her, Instagram, get on her website. Remember to smile to inspire and have a fantastic day, everybody.
Thank you so much for having me, Chris. Thanks for watching.